All right, guys, thanks for hopping on tonight. As you now know, our guest speaker is Nicole. And Nicole, I mean, you all probably know her. She is on our team. She's actually underneath Ashley LaSure. She is a lifetime 5-star. And I think, did you mentor 2 or 3 of them to Diamond this year?
With 2 of them, but we need 1 more to hold the 6-week to be elite.
Elite, yeah. And she's already locked in Premier. And she basically is just a badass at what she does. And she's super busy. She has 2 kids. She started coaching when she was working full time, and her husband's crazy busy too. So she's just going to share with you guys some insight on how to be a badass and successful in your businesses.
Okay, so I guess I'll start by kind of sharing how I got to Diamond and what I was doing when I started coaching. I honestly had no idea. So I started the journey right as I was starting my own fitness journey. I'm very a rare coach in that I started day 1 for both. So I was at my rock bottom. So when people tell me all the time, I want to wait until I have results, or I want to wait until I blah, 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 it doesn't need to be like that. Like, you just have to have the mentality that you want something out of this. And that's really what drove me. So while I was at my rock bottom, we also were dirt poor. We were a single income family. I was doing ultrasounds at the time. We had 1 daughter who was 2, and my husband was in school. So not only was he non-existent, but he also wasn't bringing in an income either. And when Ashley offered the coaching opportunity and just said, you know, would you want to start coaching so that you can make a side income? That's literally all she said. And I heard income and I said, yes, sign me up. I didn't even know Ashley was a coach. I didn't know coaching existed. I had no idea what I was signing myself up for. I also was a total introvert. I had about 300 friends on Facebook. I never posted. I never talked with people. I was that super awkward person, not online because I didn't exist online, but that super awkward person in person. So I just, like, thinking about it now, I feel like I had everything going against me, or all the objections that everybody gives me. And I literally just didn't even think twice about it. And I started coaching. So I signed up with a challenge pack the next day. And thankfully, my husband is super supportive. I talk with my hands a lot, super supportive. And he said, I want to do this journey with you. So I chatted with Ashley, and she's like, well, then you should sign him up under you and just get him a challenge pack as well. So he was my first person underneath me. And then so now I'm halfway to Emerald. And then all I did was talk with my girlfriend, my best friend from high school, and said, hey, I'm starting this journey. Would you want to do this with me? And she said, sure, why not? So she signed up as a coach underneath me as well. So I got to Emerald, I believe it was in 1 day. So first day had already made the commission off of 2 challenge packs. And I saw that coming in. I think it was like, what, 80 or $100 or something, that I was like, oh my God, I barely did anything. And here I was making $100. So that really triggered me to realize, like, holy crap, I could really do something with this. And in the back of my mind, it was always, I wanted to desperately be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be, like, if you asked me what I wanted to do in life, it was to be a mom. And then my mom always said, what if something happens to Justin? You have to have an income for yourself and your kids. You have to go to school. And so ultrasound just seemed like the safest job for me. So that's what I went for. But in reality, I didn't want to do ultrasound. All I wanted to do was be a stay-at-home mom. And then when Justin started going to school, and after having our daughter, I had to keep working because he was in school and I had to be the sole provider. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, how could I potentially make this work? So, like, could this really take over my ultrasound income, and could I grow this into something that I could really make my dream a reality, and having the income to be able to provide for my family and stay home with them. And I remember coaches on our team, specifically Raina, sharing her weekly income or her monthly income. And while it seemed like such a far fetch, I think if she had not shared those big numbers of making tens of thousands of dollars in weeks and then months, that I wouldn't have known that I could have ran for that. So I'm super thankful that she shared those numbers. But anyway, so there I was sitting at Emerald. And then obviously the next step for anybody, because I know I'll be sharing this video, Sam might share this video as well. Diamond, you need 4 people underneath you. You need for one of those 4 on each side to be Emerald themselves, and then 3 active coaches or discount members out of the 4. Okay, so here I was already with my husband and my best friend. So then naturally I kept sharing with people. So a lot of people think like, how can I invite people? Or I haven't had the results, or I don't have abs, or whatever. I didn't either. I was at my rock bottom. I was starting out from square one. So instead of saying like, hey, I don't know, I guess I just took the approach of, hey, I've been super miserable lately. I totally needed a change in my life. So I decided to sign up for this fitness program where I can do these workouts at home. And I just wanted to see if you wanted to do this journey with me. Super, super simple. And I literally invited everybody. I basically crapped my pants daily because I was such an introvert, so nervous, heart beating through my chest, but I didn't care because I think one of the big driving forces too was that I signed up and I got myself a challenge pack and I got my husband a challenge pack, and we had no money, and I had charged it on our credit card that I needed to make that money back. And I did by signing people up and getting them started. So I just sent the invite. I would send 40 invites a day. You know, back then, I remember Ashley putting me in a training group, and I think it was like a 60 or a 90-day training group back then. And I remember her putting me in there, and it was kind of in the middle of it. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I really didn't know what coaching was all about either. And I remember removing myself because I didn't want anything to do with it. It just confused me, whatever. And then also too, I remember, I was going to say something else with that too, and now I forget. Crap. Okay. But anyways, that was the other thing. Ashley also ran challenge groups that I feel like were 60 days long at a time. I feel like all coaches have kind of made this wave of doing like shorter groups and then longer groups and then shorter groups, because you're always changing things up, which I think is great. And at the time it was like a 60-day challenge group, and she had added me in there. And again, here I was, total introvert, and I removed myself from it. So I hadn't even participated in a challenge group, and here I was asking people to join me on this journey and running my own challenge group. So it blows my mind when people say, I can't run a challenge group because I don't know what to say in there. I need a guide, or I need a guide to post in a challenge group or whatever. Just make it your own. This is your journey, and all you're doing is sharing it with others. And the more you do, the more coach vital behaviors. And I know you guys are probably doing them now already, or maybe you're brand new and you're going to start doing them, but like adding to your network or connecting to your followers or whatnot, you're going to find people who are like you, so that if you run a challenge group and you bring out the best of you in it, those people are most likely going to enjoy it because you're already connected in some level. Okay. So here I was with 300 friends on Facebook, and I literally invited anybody that I could think of, all of my friends. I didn't care. It was funny too, because I feel like the people who I would stop before I would hit send and be like, there's no way this person is going to sign up, those are the people that were like, yeah, I would love more information. So your coach as a job isn't to decide if they're ready or when they're ready. Your job as a coach is to invite them. Okay. Don't make that decision for them, whether they're ready, whether they need this, whether they want this, whatever. Your job is to invite them and to keep inviting them, because you never know when it's time. Okay. So I had friends I could ask. I have family members I could ask. I had coworkers I could ask. Me, myself, I did not ask coworkers because, again, I was super introvert, would never ask one of my coworkers. I actually, for the longest time, just had no support from my coworkers at work at all, because I think they saw me having success too. And that's just what happens. People don't support you because you're having success, and it brings out the negativity in them. And then they realize that they aren't having success themselves. So they have a hard time supporting you. So funny story, I've been out of work for 3 years now from that office, and one of my coworkers just signed up and she's loving it. So you can't ever give up on people, right? I have to continuously invite them and follow up with them. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and give some tips. So that's basically how I got to Diamond. I got my husband to Emerald, which was, I just kept inviting, so then I would sign them up under him. I've also have always hit Success Club 10, except for 1 month in my coaching journey. So I always got myself to Success Club first, and then I would build my husband's business. His account was also the first one that I got to diamond as well, as far as the diamonds underneath me. And then my friend decided that she wanted to do the coaching journey with me too, because I asked her. Had I not asked her or invited her, she probably never would have given it a try. So big tip is you have to just ask, because you never know. You can't sit back and expect people to just pour into you because you announce that you're a Beachbody coach, because the opposite is going to happen, okay? So a few tips that I wrote down is, number one, absolutely you have to have positive and energetic. You have to be energetic. You have to give that energy to them, right? People are not going to continuously look for you and follow you if you're like a sloth and you're miserable and whatever. Like yes, I want you to share that you're struggling, but do it in a way that you're like, oh, you know, there's times when you need to be real and raw and honest, and share that you have anxiety, and share that you're having trouble losing that postpartum baby weight, or share that you're having struggles with whatever you have in life, and take it in a serious vibe. But then the other times too, you need to share that while I'm having anxiety, I'm also doing 30-minute home workouts because I don't want to go on medication. Or maybe your belief is that you want to use home workouts as a stress relief, or whatever your belief may be. So because I have a struggle, I'm doing something to overcome it. And then because of that, I am happy, right? Like I am energetic. It's working. So you want to share that. You want to share your struggle, but then share your connection and share, you know, the outcome out of it. Number two is share that you're showing up with purpose. So a lot of times new coaches, they get excited, and I don't know why. Maybe you guys know, I don't know, but I swear I never sit there and post my Shakeology cup and say, hey, just had a great Shakeology. But then every new coach, I swear to God, goes and does it. Don't do it. Like, you want to share what you're doing with purpose. So just like I shared, maybe you have anxiety, so you're going to do a 30-minute workout to relieve the stress that you have. There, you're showing up with purpose, right? So just did my 30-minute workout in my home where I didn't have to worry about traffic. I didn't have to strangle to get the kids in the damn car seats that I wish I never had to buckle again in my life, you know, and just going through those struggled things and then sharing. And now my workout is done and I'm feeling amazing. Like I lived through all of that, or whatever. So share why you're doing it and what you're doing, not just, hey, did a 20-minute workout, or hey, did 21-day fix day 7, or whatever. Talk about pain points, either that you've had in the past or that you're currently having. So when I started coaching, I had current pain points, right? I was overweight. I wasn't fitting in my clothes. It never fails. Every time that I share the one pain point that really triggered me to start my journey, which was that I would change at least 10 times in the morning before work every single day and just be miserable with how I looked, how I felt. I had no confidence. I was just disgusted. I would cry, all of that I would then leave the house and it would set my mood for the entire day, and I hated it. And I finally admitted and confessed to my husband that I had to do something about it. So every time I share that journey, that pain point on social media, I have people message me saying, hey, it's like you're in your head, or, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I go through. So I shared it while I was going through it, but then I can also share it now because I never want to be that person again, right? I already lived through that pain point and I had a solution for it that I have now never gone back to because of the solution that I have. So I think it's really important to talk about those pain points, whether you have them now or you had them before. And I definitely believe that we all have pain points that we go through in all phases of life. Maybe it's your mental health. Maybe it's your nutrition. Maybe it is your workouts. Maybe it's you're raising your kids, whatever it may be. The more you share about it, the more you're going to be able to draw in those people who that can relate to you. And then again, you have that solution for them. Okay. Number 4 is you're not selling Beachbody, you're selling this lifestyle. So people need to trust you. So that's a big thing. Like, you're not selling a challenge pack. You're not selling Beachbody. You're not selling 21 Day Fix. You're not selling Shakeology. Instead, you're going to show people that, oh, I struggle so much with nutrition. I'm the type of person who totally felt that I could skip breakfast because I didn't have time. I then ran to the cafe at the hospital during lunch, and then at home, or when I got home, I had no energy to cook dinner. So we literally drove next door to Burger King and got fast food or whatever. Now I've learned that eating a breakfast is so important, but my time hasn't changed while I'm still working, right? This is when I was a new coach. So I found a nutritious shake that I could have as vitamins and minerals, and it literally replaced skipping that morning meal, and I'm literally closer to the goals that I've always had, right? So using those pain points again, being relatable, and then building that trust with people. Other ways that you can build trust too is sharing other things and not just about Beachbody. So maybe it's that you loved a brand of dishes. Maybe you love these, like I have so many people coming at me for these cups, and it's because I just share them all the time because I love them. Like, it's a freaking cup. But people trust me because they see this, they talk about it all the time, they go and get it, they love it too. It doesn't have to be just Beachbody. It shouldn't be just Beachbody. People need to trust you in all other aspects, and then they'll come to you for the Beachbody part, okay? Another one is showing up daily on your stories. Now, when I started, social media was completely different then. There was no stories. Instagram, I didn't have Instagram. Again, I only had Facebook, but I was consistently sharing my journey on there. Obviously, things are a little bit different now, and I wouldn't post like I did before, but I think the most important thing, especially as a new coach, is just start. Start sharing something. Like, find and then go back through and constantly be reevaluating your page. Like, are you going to your page and are you inspired by your posts? If not, then you're not inspiring your vibe either, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. It sounds like so stupid and almost hot-headed, but if I'm having a bad day, I can literally go back through my posts and I'm like, damn, that girl is rocking it. Like, I want to be her. But it's because I share everything that I do. I'm upbeat about it. I'm positive about it. I still share my pain points, but I also share how I overcome those pain points, okay? Another thing that I see a lot of newer coaches doing is they're not speaking on their stories. And like, think about somebody that's super successful that you just love following. You've heard their voice before, right? Because it's a social media business. You can't be successful with a social media business and not be social on social media. You have to talk. So get over the fear and just start talking on your stories. I don't care if you first start by having the video away from you and saying, like, this is my meal tonight. I suck at cooking, but I also know that my anxiety has been through the roof and I've been told that nutrition is a huge part. So this is what I'm making tonight, blah, blah, blah. They see it, they hear my pain point, they hear what I'm doing, I'm sharing what I'm doing, I'm building trust in them, and I'm talking, they're hearing my voice. And then maybe next week, you bring up the courage to then turn it around and do your face, okay? If you're awkward, your followers are probably awkward too, so it's okay. Do a poll with it, make it funny, make it your thing. Give them a reason to trust you. Or give them a reason to follow you. So if you're it's so crazy how, like, all you have to do is the vitals and all of it is like full circle. If you're doing any of the vitals, like focusing on your nutrition, focusing on your workout programs, doing personal development, doing inviting, you're going to be sharing all of that on your posts, all of that on your stories. So you're doing the vitals and doing the social media part all in one. That's all it takes. Just a mix of all of them together. It's really, people really make it harder than it really is. I've been listening to Angie Lee recently, her podcast. I don't know if any of you listen to her. I highly recommend her if you are not yet. It's called The Angie Lee Show. She just, I don't even know what she does. She basically talks to us, helps us grow our business, whatever. She is really easy to listen to, and I highly recommend her. But something that she said in her podcast recently that really spoke to me was that You sell them on what they want, and then you show them what they need, right? Okay, so you're going to sell them on what they want. So you, by sharing your journey, sharing all the things you love, sharing all the things that you're interested in, you're selling that girlfriend of yours out there on social media and what she wants, right? Maybe she wants cute cups or whatever, or maybe she wants the happiness. That's why it's so important to share happiness. If you ask anybody deep down, their secret, truest want in life, it is part of it spins on happiness. So you need to be the person to share that happiness with them, okay? So you're selling them the happiness, but what they really need to get to that happiness is everything that Beachbody has to offer, okay? So you have to sell them on what they want and then show them what they need. Another thing that I hear a lot of is that people don't have the time to do it. So when I started doing my business, I was working full time. My husband was gone with school, basically non-existent. I called myself the single wife life, living it because that's how it was. My daughter was super busy, toddler too, like crazy. And then I signed up in February. I think I went diamond around maybe July, August. And then in September, we found out we were pregnant with our second. And that's what really drove me to realize, like, okay, I can either give into the excuses that I don't have time, I hate this current life that we're living, or I could show up when most people won't, when I don't want to, but still need to, and I could match my income to be able to stay home with my daughter when I deliver in June. And that's what really drove me. So every night I would stay up from 8 to 11 and do the vitals. I would invite like a mother. I would make sure my posts were on point. I would make sure I was connecting with people. I was adding to my network every single day. And it's crazy because I remember Ashley saying to me, like, you should coach. And one of my first objections was, well, I work full time and my husband's busy and I have a daughter and I hardly see her as it is, which makes me so sad. And she was like, okay, so do it at night for 30 minutes when she's sleeping, when you're watching TV. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's true. I was laying on the couch, not doing anything, watching TV. And that's literally when I worked my business. So, and if you think about it, the most successful people in this business are so freaking busy. When do you ever hear about a successful story when they were like, yeah, I had all this money in the world and I was sitting around and I just, made my business. No, like it's the people that need the business that make it a priority, and that's when they have success. So don't say that you're too busy, because you're not. What it is you're not in love with the life that you're living now, and you're making excuses because you know it's going to be hard, but getting over that hard is going to give you the life that you want to live. And then just having a no matter what attitude and get your shit done. That's all I got.
Love it. So one question I have is, you mentioned, well, no, you didn't mention this, but I was thinking about it when you were talking about one of the things. You used to offer, and I don't know if you still do, free groups and like recipes and things like that. So what, in the beginning and now, what is your balance between free groups and promoting a challenge group or something, like free content versus paid?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I've kind of like, and I feel like all coaches do, they kind of dabble with the free groups, the not doing this without a free group, doing just challenge groups or challenge packs or whatever. And I remember running a few free groups, but I think I wasn't as involved as I could have been, just hearing, and I would listen to the other successful coaches with free groups, and I just wasn't doing all the things that they said to do with them. So they just weren't successful for me, and I think my heart just wasn't in it. But then I stepped back and I said, okay, but I have to be offering these people some type of free value in order for them to trust me. And that's when I really started falling in love with cooking, even though I was so picky, sucked at cooking, like worst ever cook in the entire world. So being able to make a meal, I was like, oh, hot damn, like I can do this. So let me help the other people out there who also don't think that they can do it. So I started coming up with these, and now I do it all the time. I call them my stupid simple meals, and I make them and I share them constantly. So I share free value through my posts constantly. So before, it was more like, hey, want to join my free group where I'm offering crock pot meals type of thing. But then I just felt like it was just so much to be able to add people in, connect with those people, whatever, where now I do a lot of my vital behavior of the connection aspect through my posts. So I make sure my post is in some way giving value to a challenger or a coach. So I want them to constantly see like, okay, here she is. I'm getting another recipe out of her. Like, she talks about these meals all the time and that she has a challenge group where she's offering these meals. Okay. Just sharing that type of thing versus spending the time creating the free group. So I basically took the free group aspect and turned it into my posts. So then when I message people based on if they're watching my stories, liking my posts, commenting on my posts, that's when I send them an invite. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
To a challenge group.
I love it. Do you guys have any questions? I have a couple more, but want to make sure your guys are answered first.
I just had a quick question. So I feel like you said, you're the exception that you went all in with coaching and challenge at the same time. So I feel like that's like my biggest hurdle is people giving the money objection. So how often do you try to spin it to, hey, why don't you try coaching at the same time? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, no way, like not happening.
I honestly do a lot. If somebody tells me they don't, and I think it really depends on the person. And obviously I try to connect with them so I can kind of engage, like, do I really feel that they would be a good coach? Do I feel like they're just going to turn that down and I need to offer just the free 2-week trial right now? But I really do try to offer, even if I just seed drop it in and I'll say, you know, that's really fine that you can't afford it. There's two options. You can either try coaching, which you could ultimately make your money back, and I can show you how to do that. That's exactly what I did. I always try to relate it in there. Or the second option would be that we could get you a smaller bod pack, or you could even start with the 2-week free trial type thing. But I always try to drop that seed so that later on when I'm doing follow-ups, I can, 2 months later, hey girlfriend, did you ever think more about coaching? I would love to get you started type of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, all the time.
Anyone else? One thing that Nicole is really good at in conversations is relating. I remember her saying at the last Diamond Retreat. By the way, she's also co-hosting the Diamond Retreat with us in Disney. But I remember you saying that, like, anytime anyone has any question, or even like just them responding to the questions that you're answering, everything is like relate first. Always relate and then go to the next question or whatever else you have on your mind. I love that. And you do that in your posts too, and stories and everything. I love that.
I had a coach sign up and we were talking about conversations because she has somebody interested, and my very first thing to share with her is relate and then ask her next question.
Yeah, I love it. So you're still busy in my eyes. Like, I see you, so go watch her stories. They're very entertaining, but you're still busy. So how much of the day do you work? And then also of that time, how much is spent sending messages like invites and follow-ups and things like that versus expanding?
I would say, like, I'm just a hot mess, guys. I literally have no structure to my day. I have no and it blows my mind because so many people think that I am organized, and I'm not. Like, I had a coach tell me last night on our team call, she's like, I just fell in love with how organized you were, so I felt like I could be organized too. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, like, I am the least organized person in the entire world. So I literally do not have any type of structure. I'm a hot mess, but I make it work. Like, to me, Success Club is an absolute priority. Having messages going back and forth is an absolute priority. Sending an invite for new coaching, especially right now while I'm trying to grow my business even more, is an absolute priority. Showing up in my challenge groups is an absolute priority. So homeschooling my daughter is an absolute priority. Being the mom at home, the wife at home, and doing the house chores go way back. But cooking, like, I'm still focusing on my meals and keeping a healthy environment for my kids and my family, which then ultimately I can share with my followers, which then ultimately I'm building that trust, which then I'm getting my challengers out of. So I kind of relate my whole life to it. But I don't have any structure to it, and I'm just a hot mess. I wouldn't say I don't feel like I don't have, this is what I do at this time, this is what I do at this time, just because I always feel trapped in that environment. And I always think back to when I was working full time, I dreaded clocking in. Like I hated it. And then they changed how we did it, and it pissed me off even more. And then I would sit there from 3:30 to 4 twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the clock to go by. And I'm like, I don't want that now. I don't want to sit and force myself to a certain time. Like I've had success being able to pick and choose when I want to do things. So that's what I do. So I think what to get out of that is you're probably way more organized than I am. But you don't find what works for you. You don't have to have all your eggs in a basket before you can go ahead and get started, or you don't have to, be this hot mess and think that you can't do it. You can do it however you want to. You just have to find what works for you. And if you're sitting back thinking, well, this isn't working for me right now, then change it. Like you have to constantly be changing in this business.
I love that. And then last question, because I see that we went over a little bit. The 3 girls on here are actually pretty close to Diamond. So how did you go about mentoring Emeralds or even other Diamonds to get to Diamond and start Diamond?
So Emeralds, do any of you need Emeralds right now, or do you need active discount member coaches?
They all need Emeralds.
Emeralds? Okay. So for me, I have a few coaches who just signed up. I work very closely one-on-one with my people. I don't spend the time doing, and this is just me, I don't spend the time doing one-on-one calls just because I'm a total introvert. And if Ashley had asked me that, I probably would have been like, this business isn't for me. It took me months before I even got on a team call. But that's just me. If you love the one-on-one or you love the getting started right call, then maybe you need to offer that to your person. You have to figure out what your vibe is and who are the people that you are attracting. But I do more one-on-one, and I directly message my new coaches and I say, okay, first goal is signing up 2 people how you just got started. I know that you know 2 people who could either really use this lifestyle right now, like they need it, or you know somebody who would totally love this lifestyle right now. So let me know when you know of your 2 people and we can go through a conversation with them. And usually they instantly say like, oh yeah, my friend blah, 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 or this person here or whatever. I think really giving that belief in them that they know somebody. I also have had people who say like, yeah, I really don't know anybody. And I'm like, okay, well, you're a liar. You know 2 people in the universe. So I think just really, diving more into and then start asking questions. What about your sister? What about your relatives? What about your friends? Do you have a friend from college who maybe is having trouble with something? Like this Beachbody is the solution to, I feel, anybody and everybody. So you just have to find those people and give them the belief. But I walk through the conversation with them. I give them the graphic that I send them. I basically choose what challenge pack I would offer to those people. And then I walk them through how to send a sack. And usually it's very quickly. I personally feel that the quicker you get them to Emerald, the better. Because for me personally, I saw that quick cash that really drove me to keep going. If it had taken me 4 years to hit Emerald and make $100, then I probably wouldn't have as much belief in Beachbody. If you have people who are like 1 away from Emerald and you're like, yeah, I don't really know if like they're my Emerald, go invite the other active discount members in your downline, because you never know who needs this right now. You could have a girl in your downline who had the worst day at work right now, and all she's thinking is, I have to do something different with my life. And you sending her that message of, hey girlfriend, my team is so diving into this goal that we have, and I thought of you because you're just so upbeat and positive, and I'm dying to get you on my team. What do you think? I'd love to get you started. Give them belief. Like they need belief. They need it.
I love that. Mallory Flynn, who you all know, she was a discount coach, and I just kept inviting her to join the Getting Started Right calls and to learn more about coaching, and now she's one of the diamonds on our team. So it's good. Circle back to all of those people. Yeah. Any other questions from you guys? Katie, Tiff, or Shauna?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you were at the point in your business where you were trying to match your full-time income, is there anything, I mean, I guess, like, I feel like it's a dumb question. Like, is there anything outside of, like, the vital behaviors? Like, is there anything that you felt like really helped you to get to that full-time level? Because right now I'm at a point where I'm not working at my job a lot, but my boyfriend, bless his heart, is kind of taking over most of our finances because I'm trying to push to get to the point where I'm full-time in my business, but I'm in that like we're not like seeing the income from it yet where I can totally commit to it.
Mm-hmm. I would say when I was pushing to match my income, I knew I can't ultimately decide who's going to sign up. I can't ultimately decide that I get commission from a challenge pack, but I can be the deciding factor of how many people I invite. So if I go and I invite 50 people today, I'm more likely to get a challenge pack out of it. I also had the huge driving force of signing 5 people up to get that extra $100 bonus. And at one point, it was signing 5 people up in a week so that not only did I get that commission from them in 1 week of 5 challenge packs as discount members, but I also got the extra $100 bonus each week. That's an extra $400 in a month just by pushing, and it's just inviting more. It's doing more of adding to your network. It's doing more of connecting, and then it's doing more of inviting, which ultimately allows you to do the follow-ups where the success happens. You can't do the follow-ups without the initial invite, and you're not going to make the sale from the initial invite. You're going to help them get started during the follow-up. So yeah, just having the goal of, okay, that really helped me too, not only having a monthly Success Club goal, but having a weekly Success Club goal. Because for me, I went through a few months where I struggled to hit Success Club or my Success Club goal. And I remember being in the last week, and my husband can, I'm sure, relive it, where I would be like, that's it, I quit. This is so stressful. I can't do this. I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, he had a point in that, like, if you didn't care that much and you didn't say those things, then you weren't in it as a business. Like, that's what business owners do. That's how you know they care about it. And then I was like, I can't do this every month. I can't be that stressed every month. So instead I started treating, which kind of sounds dumb, but I started treating each week like it were the last month, and it got easier on my mindset. Like, okay, I already hit Success Club in week 1. Like, that's cool. Now I don't have to do it as much, but I'm still going to have that mentality of, let's do it again. Let's help 3 more people the next week. So I went from my Success Club goal from 1 month to each week. And that really drove me too. And then from there, I just knew, like, okay, and I always do a BB week. So starting Thursday, if I'm now to Monday and I haven't helped anybody, you better believe I am grinding my butt to invite and do more connections and add more people Tuesday, Wednesday, for the next BB week or whatever.
Yeah, if there's anything that I remember about Nicole from the early days, I feel like you were always in the trenches. Like, you didn't pick your head up to like look at all of the flashy things and new ideas and do this and graphics and all of this sort of things. It was like she was just always messaging and inviting and doing all of those things. Yeah, but that's what it takes. Anything else, you guys? No? All right. Thank you so much for your time, Nicole. And thank you, girls, for hopping on.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to take a quick pic.
Oh, yeah. I always need a reminder for that.
1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too.